Welcome to our show. Today I have amazing guest, and you know what? The wonderful part about this guest is he influence and win people through his stories, and also by telling different stories about different people. Storytelling makes communication easy and helps to quickly build connections with people. That is what he thinks. And a good story can make us think, feel, and inspire us to take action. And in the corporate world, stories can help to speak in ways that power presentations, data, or numbers simply can't. And that's why, he actually helps people in telling the stories. And storytelling can help us to influence and win people both in professional and personal lives as well. That is what he thinks. And our today's guest, Amit Khanna, he is an amazing storyteller. After losing his parents at an early age, Amit started working from the age of 15. Professionally, Amit is a project program manager and agile coach and holds a master's degree in project management. Working in textile, banking, restaurant, and IT, he worked at all levels of job. From being labor to an IT executive, he prides his knowledge to books and feels that he is the most blessed person on the planet. He lives with a never give up attitude. He strongly believes that sharing stories with people can help them identify, relate, and create special bonds. So, welcome Amit Khanna to the Ravi Nadar show.
Hey, hi Ravi. How are you?
Doing great, like good to see you, and like I'm super excited for today's conversation, and especially whatever you are doing till now, and especially the stories that impact show that had a huge impact, not only different people, it is inspiring, also it is transforming a lot. So
Thank
great.
you. Thank you very much. And I heard the introduction. Yeah, it was a lot for me. I'm gonna take that. Thanks for that, though.
Great. So, Amit, like, could you share a little bit about your background journey? I shared a little bit, maybe it's from your mouth, like from working in a textile company to a magnetic storyteller. How this all happened?
Sure, sure. It's I always tell this to everyone is that just because my journey has been a inspiring one, don't seek God to have the same. Because trust me, when the journey was going on, it was not that easy. So, like you said, I lost my father at very early age, and being a single child, I started working.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 15. Yeah, I was 15, 14 or 15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and my first job was with a restaurant in Borivali. So I'm born, brought up in Mumbai, and my
Okay.
first job was in Borivali restaurant as a cashier and a helper to a cashier. And I used
Okay.
to work there like for 750 rupees a month, 5
Mm.
5 hours every day, 6 days a week. And from there I got into textile industry, 12 hours a day. From there to banking to
Mm-hmm.
finally getting into IT, and started my IT career somewhere. I think it was 2002 2003, I guess,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and till date. But all these times, like I always say, yes, my life, it sounds very inspiring. It is in a way when I look back as well. But trust me, during that time, those phases were really, really challenging. Okay, it wasn't easy to let go many things. It wasn't easy to
Mm-hmm.
even how should I put it, like I never spent Diwalis, and during my teen years, like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, that
Mm-hmm.
time, I didn't had to spend Diwali and New Year's with anybody because I have to work, the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, it sounds very inspiring. It is, but there were definitely quite a bit of challenge.
Okay. And what was the biggest turning point, Amit, in your life that which has actually completely shaped you to who you are today? Or maybe it has completely shifted the way you started looking towards life was shifted completely.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I was an outstanding student of my college. The guy who stands out.
Yes.
So,
Backbenchers kind of a thing.
yes, backbenchers are the worst, standing out really.
Okay.
So that was the reality. Okay, that was the
Mm-hmm.
I can show everybody my mark sheet. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that was the reality. I didn't had a My mother was not she wasn't educated in the sense she was a
Mm-hmm.
wise lady, but then she had her own certain sort of mindset that she worked upon, and she
Mm-hmm.
used to be unwell,
Okay.
cancer patient and all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then apart from her, I don't have any brother sisters, right? So nobody was there to tell me that, hey, Amit, sit down and this is how life is and blah 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 and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened with me was, and I still remember, I had this attitude
Mm-hmm.
problem, okay,
Mm-hmm.
during my college days, and in attitude problem in the sense bad attitude problem, okay.
Okay.
So like I was into the wrong environment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not a drug addict, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
but I was in a wrong environment. An
Mm-hmm.
environment where the attitude is like, we don't care about growth. We don't know what the hell growth means. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
education is just a means of moving forward. If it doesn't happen, it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So what happened is my cousin sister-in-law. Okay, I
Okay.
remember this very very clearly. My
Mm-hmm.
mother is in the hospital. She
Mm-hmm.
just got operated,
Mm-hmm.
cancer operation, breast cancer, and my cousin sister-in-law, because my cousin brother, he is one of the doctors, and he got the operation done. You know, and again, we were also financially very poor, by the way. Okay,
Okay.
uh, and so he helped to get all those things arranged, and then he's not happy with me. And
Mm-hmm.
my cousin sister-in-law, she comes in and she tells me that, Amit, there's only two ways to think what your brother is saying. He was giving me all this gyan, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Either you take it and think that it is for your benefit, or
Mm-hmm.
you just ignore him. Okay, that's
Okay.
all. That's the only two choices you have. And she also handed over to me a book called as You Can Win by Shiv Khera.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Now, that book actually changed my life because that book gave me stories which told me that, that there is gonna, life is all about ups and downs, but
Mm-hmm.
there are people who have come out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what they've done. This is how they came out of it, and so on and so forth, right? So I, rather than being in the victim mode always, that oh my god, my father is not there, my mother is sick, blah blah blah, no money, this crap, that crap. So I also shifted it. So I think that was my turning point. Till then I never used to read books also, because मुझे physics maths कुछ समझ में नहीं आता था इतना.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that book actually changed my life.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
And of course her, the my cousin, sister-in-law.
Mhm. And also, during these point of a time, have you had this kind of a belief or maybe something, the inner talk we used to have with ourselves, God or universe, why only me? You choose me to, like, going through all this situation, all the hell lot of problems, like दुनिया का सब problem हम मुझे ही दे दिया है. I've been through
Absolutely.
that situation.
All the time. All the time. And it was not just me. It was my mother also. So I thought
Mm,
that's the right way to think. Because see, I'm not blaming her. May her soul rest in peace now. But it's
mhm,
just that, it happens. It happens. It moves from your parents. Something will come to the child as well. And again, the same thing. If you're not in the right environment, if you
mm,
don't have, let's say, mentor or coach, now mentor and coaches are like too much in abundance in a way.
yes.
Even back then there might be, but we
Mhm,
didn't knew, right, in
mhm,
that sense. But if you don't have that right guidance, okay, you
mhm,
definitely feel that, oh my god, sab mere saath hi kyun ho raha. And yes, I was in that thing, because no money, you don't have money to spend, you don't have money to even buy lavish clothing. Forget lavish clothing, brand new clothing. All the while I used to wear second hand clothes a lot of for many years.
mhm.
So yeah, it did fit.
Okay. So now, Amit, like, why do you think like one's story is more important? And if you think that it is more important, then how can you think, how can you share something like how can our story can build connection? Because some people think that why to share our vulnerable side, right? Like why to share my own story? Maybe like listening to my story, some people might don't want to be connected with me anymore. So why do you think like the story is something which is very much important, and how can one build a connection with that?
No, that's a good point actually, because when I think of my story, it is such a uh, weird story. And trust me, in college days, people used to
Mhm.
stay away from me. Those good guys,
Yes,
scholar students, अच्छे बच्चे, they used to
the
stay away from
intelligent
that
guys.
intelligent guys. They actually used to stay away from me,
Okay.
and but now, I think story, few things. Okay, one is that I personally believe that stories help you connect. Okay, so what do I mean by that? We have heard this many times, story helps you connect. So what I mean to say is that when you share a story, you basically are trying to understand somebody else's perspective. Okay, that's how I see
Mhm.
towards life, right? Like a father, when passes on some information to the son, okay, in
Mhm.
form of a story, it's not necessarily that the son will go through the same thing, but it's
Mhm.
sort of an advice in form of a story. Okay, because
Mhm.
it helps to relate, it helps to connect, right? When someone listening to my story now probably can say that, okay, this person changed, right, after a decade or two, maybe with certain hardships, the person changed. So that story could inspire. There
Mhm.
are stories who make the, who can, that can scare the hell out of you, right, as
Mhm.
well. So
Mhm.
stories are basically, in a way, helps you to connect. Sometimes it also helps you to bond a little better, because there might be certain things which somebody might say that, oh, you know what, I can feel Amit's pain. Oh, you know what, my mother has gone through the same thing. Or, you know what,
Mhm.
I don't have a father, but I'm in a different state of mind, and so on and so forth. So I think stories help. And people feel very, very difficult. Okay, because I you mentioned about my show, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Stories that impact.
Stories that
So,
impact.
stories that impact, basically, there I ask many people, right, to come. Like you being a guest on my show as well,
Yes.
right? But not everyone comes and shares their side. Okay, because people see it as a negative aspect of their life. All right,
Mhm.
something that they don't want to share. Okay, but they don't understand that if you take any person, I tell this to many people, go to any person, who's big and famous. Okay, they
Mhm.
will always share their most horrible experiences, their failures, very, very vocally. And
Mhm.
that's how we start loving them in a way. Like, you listen to Gary Vee, you even go to Sundar Pichai, and understand his story of his family. Okay, how
Mhm.
he is managing his son, right?
Right.
So you will know that you actually get connected. And that's what exactly happens, because stories help. And people who can't share it, I think they're missing out on something. That's all I can say. They're missing out on these nice long bonds that they can have. Otherwise, I would say that it's just a phony face on top that you're carrying
Mhm.
there.
Yes, because some people might be thinking that okay, I am going through some challenges, lot of challenges, lot of things is happening in my life. Maybe it's a personal life, finance life, or maybe family life, anything. But if I share this to my friend or maybe my colleague, they might take advantage of me, or maybe they might leave me as well, or maybe like they will start seeing me as a different person. So,
Hmm.
and also like the environment, like log kya bolenge.
Yes, I call it as a syndrome. Log kya
Yes.
kahenge syndrome.
Yes.
So, and I agree. I agree. I think if your best friends, or see, I also see it this way. Now I share my story. People know my story. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody doesn't want to connect to me after listening to my story, probably, I know people will not understand this. They will not agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
Probably it's best for me. All right. Because I have done something in my past. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not that. happy about it, but I had to do it because everything is mostly driven by the situation. How you react to that is what basically works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now there are certain things that, I use my story, background story, to help somebody, inspire somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But if and I some of my stories are really really scary. Okay, it scares
Yes.
someone, right? And I understand that, but I'm not saying that, I can go back and change it, but I'm not ashamed of it. Okay, that's my
Mm.
life and I've lived it, so I'm not ashamed of it. So if you are ashamed of your story, probably look into what exactly that story is, because not you don't have to open your whole life as a bloody book. Okay, there are certain things you're going to take it to the grave, let's be very honest. But
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, there are many things that can definitely be utilized as a story, to inspire, to scare, to laugh, and to generate humor and many things.
Yes. And the best thing, what you said, that is, I completely agree with that, because you sharing your own story might help someone to transform their life or maybe impact their life, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like that one story, okay, this person has also gone through this situation and he came out and he bounced back now, and see where he is. So I can also be bounced back, like what the other person has done. So that is the
exactly.
hope, like which is because of just listening to that story. Yeah. And how did this all these like this stories that impact show, how this got started? Like, was there any idea you thought of, like I should come up with this, or there is something which is very deep which was connected towards your roots?
Yeah, in fact, both. Again, I'm a storyteller. Remember, everything will come with a story. In fact, both. You know what happened? So 2020, I was working with a company for 14 years. Okay, and I
Hmm.
was in Sweden in 2020. Yeah, and I decided to leave it, come and settle down in Australia. So I left that job and I came to India. Now I don't have a job, and COVID hit badly, right?
Hmm.
It was the last day of me coming to India where the gates were opened, right? I think 19th March or something. Then the
Yes.
lockdown started.
Correct.
And now I'm in lockdown, and I didn't join any other job because I didn't felt it correct, to
Hmm.
join a job for a short term.
Hmm.
It's not being loyal enough from my point of view. All right. So I thought I'll wait till this whole thing goes off, and, I'll fly to Australia.
Hmm.
So during that time, I was on LinkedIn. I connected with one of the ladies in Pakistan, and she helped me with a person, and you know him as well. We know him, Dave Gadwi in Pune. She said that, he's a very unique person. Why don't you connect with him?
Hmm.
And I said fine, and I joined. I connected with him to learn more from him. Now
Hmm.
while doing that, I also pondered upon a thought that, what, I have been inspiring, because we were thinking of what I can do, how I can get into my own passion and understand it. And while doing that, we learned that, the passion is all about stories, because I keep sharing stories everywhere. And
Yes.
then one thought came in that, Amit, how much stories are you going to share about your own, right? If people are going to get bored
Yeah.
eventually. Plus, I can't tell God that, hey, you know what, give me cancer, I'll come out of it and then share it. I can't
Hmm.
do that. Things like that.
Correct.
I don't want it. Okay, please don't give me cancer. So I'm like, okay, let me go to the world. So the
Hmm.
first thing I did was I went to LinkedIn and I said that my show, and the title was Suck It Up. Okay, it was not story impact. So the title was Suck It Up, because the whole point is that, life is gonna throw shit on you. Come on, suck it up, move forward.
Hmm. Hmm.
So one of the guys in Australia said that, hey, you know what, you're starting new, and
Hmm.
he does a live show here in Australia called
Okay.
as Suck It Up.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm sorry to use that language. It's just the name of the show.
Yeah.
So and then he said that, people might not take it in a right way, since you're just
Hmm.
starting. Why don't you change it?
Mm-hmm.
And then the birth of stories, that impact came in. So it was story, and then I want to do an impact, because the whole idea was very simple. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
I take Ravi's story and
Mm-hmm.
I put it out on to the world, and let the world listen to Ravi. And someone might get impacted, like we said, right? Someone sees
Yes.
Ravi's story, someone sees XYZ story, and they say, oh yeah, this is what has happened to me, this is what has happened to my neighbor, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they will get impacted. So that's
Correct.
how story and impact, those were the
Mm-hmm.
two words, and they formed together.
Good, 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 good. And I was like watching that, like, a lot of episodes of your stories. Like, it seems that when you listen other people's stories, you think that, oh my God, you have not gone through anything. कुछ भी नहीं हुआ है तुम्हारे साथ. It's just, and you start feeling grateful for, oh my God, the other person has gone through so many things, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
So true,
yeah,
so
yeah.
true. I think that's one of the things that came out, with so many episodes that are finished now,
Mhm.
is the feeling of gratefulness. You're absolutely true.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
just that, and that's what you said in my introduction. And I am the blessed person. I
Correct, correct.
always feel that now.
Yes. And now people might be thinking that they are, like, have a lot of challenges in their life, obstacles, each and everything. How can one be grateful of that particular challenges? What would you like to say to the audience? Because you have gone through a lot of tough situations in your life, and a lot of crazy things happened in your life. How
Yeah.
can, like, one be grateful at that particular time?
Yeah, I think there are many ways to think. Okay, I'll break it down. Some of
Hmm.
my thoughts, right? So
Yes.
one is that I'm a very firm believer of "जो भी होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है" logic. Okay,
Okay.
I'm a very firm. I have 4 facial paralysis. All right, 4. The jaw was bloody here. I still firmly believe that whatever happened happened for good. Okay,
Mhm.
that's number one. Second is that if you take challenges out of a life, okay, your
Mhm.
life is a bloody crap. Okay, let me put it this way. Really, there's nothing left in it. It's like, trust me, if it's like this, if you feed somebody, give that person everything on this planet, that person doesn't have to do anything. What will happen to that person is that person is gonna be dead soon. Okay, that's
Mhm.
exactly what happens with us. So you gotta have challenge, period. Okay, uh, we also talk this in storytelling aspect as well. You need
Mhm.
to have that a little bit of oxytocin in your system to
Mhm.
keep you alive, right? So challenges are there. Okay, now the
Mhm.
third is that sometimes challenges come in abundance as
Mm.
well.
Yes.
Okay, and that's where the fun begins. Okay, but I can assure you, okay, I tell this to every person, even here in Australia, is that
Mhm.
I have a very spicy life. Like, we all know that there's an ups and downs, right?
Correct. Yes.
My downs are really really down and deep, many times. Okay, even till date. Okay, even till date.
Mhm.
uh so but then I know one thing for sure: kabhi to savera hoga. Okay,
Yes.
and I have that hope. And with that, I take it, I honestly just think it is that, it's just take that down moment as that, yes, it is a tough time. Okay,
Mhm.
you gotta live through it, you gotta live nicely through it. Okay,
Mhm.
do not crib and cry. Because here's the thing, Ravi, I always say this to people, everyone. Okay, you
Mhm.
only have two choice.
Mhm.
Okay, either live it or give it. I mean,
Mhm.
leave it or give it. You know, either तुम उसको छोड़ दो completely. So then the choice is go and bloody kill yourself, because situation तो कोई जाने नहीं वाला, right? Where you, what are you
Yes.
gonna do about it? So just go and kill yourself. All right. Or if you wanna live with it or give yourself towards it, then you do it nicely. And the
Mhm.
worst part about killing yourself is if you fail in killing yourself, for some reason you survived, then you're gonna curse more. Because
Mhm.
now you are a failure on even killing yourself. So I think the whole point is that there will be a better tomorrow. there is all, it's whatever happens happens for good, and
Hmm.
just deal with the situation and move on.
Yes. And here, this is when the acceptance comes into the picture, isn't it? Like, if you are going through the tough times, accept. Maybe like someone betrayed you, maybe the family, or maybe the spouse, or anyone, the partner, business partner, anyone, whatever the situation is, or maybe you got some disease or anything, accept it. Because once we start accepting, that's when we can move forward. Okay, now what is the solution? Let's find out the solution.
That's very, very well said. It's actually part of my one of my vowel system, but you're absolutely right. That is, acceptance is the key. Yeah, accept it, because once you accept it, half of the burden is gone anyways. Then you will
Mhm.
figure out that ab mujhe karna kya hai. You will be in a solution oriented mode rather than in a
Mhm.
cribbing mode, probably.
Yes. Now,
Good.
Amit, what were your top three limiting beliefs which was actually holding you back towards what you really want in your life, or the kind of a life you want, or like, to achieve success in your life? What was that top three beliefs?
I
Maybe
think
that
my
can be from childhood or anywhere.
Yeah, from childhood, definitely one belief that I got it broken at the age of 41. Okay, it was
Okay.
such a freakishly long belief. So, two beliefs. One was the childhood belief was that I'm not good at studies. That
Mhm.
went on for 13 years. Okay, 13 years, and I think it screwed me enough for that 13 years, because that started from the a class 5 that I remember, and it ended in my final year BSc. Okay,
Mhm.
so it was a long period. uh, Again, that broke off in my final year itself, just around that, thanks to my cousin, remember,
Yes.
and that book. The second belief that I had was after my father's death, which just got broken now around last year, last to last year, I guess,
Mhm.
which was that my father died and we were like bankrupt, you know, ekdam. Before that, we had no issue with money. Okay, it was like pouring in, because
Mhm.
at that time, what were my needs? Right, my needs were games, Ledo, and maybe some chocolates here and there. Right, that's all. You can
Mhm.
imagine, right? 1990s, mein, 80s, mein, what my needs would be. But then after that, it was so bad that we had to actually go to Vasai and shop for toothbrush from the road. So, if 1 rupee ka ek toothbrush mil gaya, and I used to wear second-hand clothes of my cousins. So
Mhm.
it was worst. It was just worst. And that belief that, I might let my son be in the same state,
Mhm.
okay, has been hampering me since a long time. Okay. Which thankfully got broken by my cousin when she said that, it's all in your subconscious, this, that, ye, wo. And, we had a very detailed discussion and things like that. So these two believes massively. And I think the third belief was that I'm not a good son, that I'm not being a good son.
Mhm.
And again, being vulnerable. Uh, but yeah, I felt so because somewhere or the other, I felt that, maybe I didn't took care of my mom. Now, people disagree with that, because I think I did. Okay. But somewhere or the other, maybe I just didn't. I don't know, so that belief is not gonna go away at all, in a way, right? She's not there. From my cousins and all who have seen me, they say you done more than what was required. But wo hota hai, right? You lose
Mhm.
your loved ones and you feel that, oh, main thoda kuch aur kar deta. But yeah, three core beliefs. Luckily, two got broken. One, I don't think it will ever
Yeah.
break in a way.
So thanks for sharing that, Amit. Now, can anyone can become a storyteller?
Absolutely, 100%. मैं तो हर टाइम बोलता हूँ, if I can be ABC, you can be XYZ. You can be better than me.
So
Yes, no, absolutely.
yes. So what is the easy way to share your stories? Because some might think that they have a powerful story, but they don't know how to tell the story, so that's why they can't share the story.
Okay, one of the easiest way to share the story is come on to my show. Okay. but but apart from that, no, just to be on the serious note,
Mm,
the whole point is that you need to understand. Now I'm gonna jump in onto two of the things. Okay.
mm,
uh, I created a system. Okay, now people always say this: I created this 5 pointer, 3 pointer, 2 pointer, and all that.
mhm,
But here is what I've done, and you can check out my TEDx talk for that as well. All right.
mhm, mhm,
So there's a system called as vowels, AEIOU, right? We all know that. So I just created a step-by-step framework, or frameworks and all are so abused these days. These words. So created this step by step. So all I'm trying to say is that if you go through that, okay,
mhm,
A is for acceptance, E is to understand emotions, I is to gather the information, and O is to organize, and U is to use it, basically.
mhm,
Okay. So now to answer your question, the first thing is, Ravi, the person needs to accept the fact that that thing has happened
yes,
and not be ashamed of. Like you just mentioned, right? First,
correct.
accept it. Once the person accepts it, that this is my story, all right,
Mm,
this is my life story, this is what happened to me, or not my life story, whatever a situation story. The
mhm,
second thing is that you need to understand what emotions do you want to get from your audience. Now
mm,
this could be anybody. Do you want to humor them? Do you want to have a mixed emotion, or what? Right, so you need to understand that. The third is that once you have that, you're going to understand how are you going to put the story. And the
mm,
simple method is this: you first have, so we have this simple method of, you first have your story, basically the situation or the
mhm,
problem,
mhm,
right? So every story will have three things. One is the problem, one is what happened with the problem, the feeling about it, what happened with the solution, and how you felt about the solution.
mhm,
That's all. So use this in anything. If you have a story how you passed your 10th, how you were so happy when you got 99%, there's a story behind it. If you want to have a story about your wedding, there's a story behind it. It's not a problem. Okay, by the way, wedding happens. Uske liye pehle problem kya tha? Problem was that you were not married and you
yes.
were probably missing out something, blah blah blah. And then what happened, how was your feelings in it. And then all you have to do is, if you put this in a simple structure that I said, organize it,
Mhm, mhm.
and share it. Trust me, it's a story, as simple as that.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it seems like very, very much simple. So thanks to sharing this with us, our audience. So yeah. Now, how can this storytelling, okay, can also help, especially people who are in the corporate world? How can they use this stories?
Yeah, that's important, because I think corporate, so I've been working with a lot of corporates in last year, okay,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
close to, I think, 1,000 odd people. And
mhm,
I took some surveys for close to 350 surveys that I have now with me. And the
okay.
biggest problem, okay, when I put it in that survey cloud and figure out what the hell the biggest problem is, it came out communication. Everyone has a problem with communication, and they
Mhm,
feel that storytelling is going to resolve it. Okay. And I'm not saying that it will not. All right. So in the corporate, the biggest challenge that I see people every time ask me is that, I'm so good, but promotion नहीं मिलता. Promotion उसको किसी को मिल जाता है. I'm so good. People don't listen to me. I'm so good. So basically, they're all good in technical, many
mhm,
aspects, but
mhm,
they're not able to convey. Or in English, I'll also say that they're not able to articulate it that well, so that,
mhm.
others can get it well. Okay.
Correct.
So storytelling can help bridge that gap, basically, in corporate as well.
And also, do you think like it will also help people for motivating or inspiring or maybe leading as an example by sharing the story towards the team?
Absolutely, absolutely. Few of my, I don't know whether you call them as mentees or people who are part of my group.
Yes.
Basically, what they've done is that, now when after going through the storytelling system, and it's the same one, okay, all I'm saying is go and watch the TEDx talk probably.
Mhm.
But once you have done that, once you have put things in a proper manner, here's a simple example. You are, let's say, a technical lead, you're a quality manager, or you're a project manager, or a scrum master, or whatever. Now I'm talking in IT, okay? You can find
Mhm.
an equivalent role in any industry you like. All right.
Mhm.
And you want to just tell your people is that, hey, you know what, this is not the right way, that is the right way. Now if you tell it directly, that's bossing around. Okay, people don't like it, people just
Mhm.
hate that. Okay, so you have to put it in form of a story,
Mhm.
right? So what exactly the story is, now you know why it is the wrong way, right? So that why is now becomes your story, correct? And then you have to figure out the same situation that has happened, or you recreate a situation and narrate it to them. Oh, you know
Mhm.
what, 2 years back I was working on blah blah blah, and this is what exactly happened, and oh my god, I can't tell you, what all things. So that helps them to, recreate it well. And
Mhm.
you can do that by, giving them good appreciations and things. Because if I just say that, Ravi, you have the best show, you are great, you are this, it's like I'm using verbs and adjectives and, throwing at you. But instead of this, if I related something, this particular show made, this is the thing that you mentioned and this is how you did it, and so on, it connects.
Mhm. That is, yeah, that is what like many of them are lacking. They are not able to connect or like build that particular bond within the team, that what they can, like how they can say it or maybe articulate it very well. But you
Yeah,
said a very right example, like by giving them some kind of examples, they come to know and they will also start connecting with that person easily. Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. And think about it, right? I'll again say this to everybody, all your good morning messages, all the people that you listen to the YouTube, just take any damn book which is of self-help.
Hmm.
Remove the stories. The self-help book will be just 40 pages of content. That's all. The rest of the 200 pages is always stories, because if you have to explain anything on this planet, there has to be a story tied to it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's just some statements around. So take anything. There is a story that they will start off with, they will talk about it. Any example is a form of a story, right?
Hmm.
It's just that storytelling has become a big hype now, but we've been doing this for, like, when we were at even you go and take your textbooks, English textbooks, there is an example, and that's a story.
From kids, like from childhood itself, like the bedtime stories, isn't it?
Yeah, it is all stories.
Yes.
Nobody says that stealing is bad thing. They will tell you a story, then tell you that stealing is bad thing.
Yes.
Right?
Instead of directly telling them, hey, you should not do this, let's like,
That's the
share a
whole.
story.
Yeah,
Great. Now,
exactly.
as a parent, okay, so might be this is something which is out of there. As a parents, do you think like parents also need to be a very good storyteller? If they
Oh, yeah.
have like they have a kids and like they want to set up some examples, or maybe they have to show them or set it to the right path, how important that is for a
I would
parent.
say hell yes. I'll give you an example. So my son, he was born in India, but then he stayed in Sweden and now in Australia, right? So he's not technically that Indian mindset. Say, okay. What I mean to say is this: at 7 p.m., my mother-in-law does lamp. She lights up a lamp
Yeah.
every day. So if I tell my son that go and pray, and he's like, why? So he is a very in project management, we are taught this 5 why structure. He's like a junior PM since the birth. So he'll ask me why. So I'll
Why?
say no. Now I have two choices there. One choice is that I just tell him, do it because I'm saying
Mhm.
so, or I explain, right? So when you explain why is your The answer of that why is nothing but a story that takes you back to your childhood days of why you were doing it, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how it happens. So you gotta make sure that children understand. There's only, like I said, there's only two ways. If you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna scold them and make them understand, they will listen to you, yes, no doubt. But the problem is that they will not get the answers that their curious mind is seeking,
Mm-hmm.
right? There is no concept of ऐसे ही होता है, or there is no concept of मैं ऐसे ही किया था तू भी ऐसे ही कर. I've been an idiot the whole life, you bloody will be the idiot as well. And I'm not talking about praying, okay, I'm talking about many other things, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
like that. Okay, so if you don't have the why answer, probably then you have to start digging in why exactly you want them to do it. Maybe it's a good habit, so explain him what exactly it is, and it always comes down in a form of a story. Just remember this: any answer that you give to your child is your story somewhere at the back. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta take that and share it, and then the child understands it. As simple as that.
Yes, and also like when as a parents, when you share that particular stories, they not only remember for that particular moment, but they will also remember till like maybe after so many years, maybe 50 or 60 years, because that is
Yeah,
that story has that particular impact. Instead of hey, you should do it, that was just a like statement, or we are just scolding that our kid. He would not remember that most of the time, but the stories why needs to be done, he will remember the same for next years. Okay.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now Amit, imagine, okay, what would you like to change in this world if you have a magic wand in your hand?
Wow. One of the greedy wishes give me more magic wands, but let's take with one. I think one of there are few topics very close to my heart, but one of the most topic that is close to my heart is children. Child. So I think child abuse, anything that comes with the children. I get a little crazy when things don't go well with children in terms of their health and their well-being, their basics.
Mhm.
Sanitization is not taken care. Food, water, and shelter is not there, and stuff like that. So I think if I have a magic wand, probably I'll say this. Okay, this is my belief, Ravi.
Mhm.
People don't like my belief a lot. I'll not cure everything, all right, because I personally believe that you need, if there's too much of good, if there's too much of nice, the only thing that you get is diabetes. Okay, too much of sugar lands you that, right? So I personally believe that there has to be a equal amount of the bad or the sad or the challenge that should be there around. But now there are many other issues. So I think, yeah, children is something that I'll cure with the wand, that they have a safe place to stay, to eat,
Mhm.
and to live, probably get education and things in place.
Okay. And thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, definitely, we all need to yes, what you are saying, that is also very true, because this is something which we take it very much lightly. But yes, we should try to take it like you should not take this for granted kind of a thing. We should be more focused towards that as well, especially these kind of things.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And as a like Amit as a person, what kind of a person he is, if you have to say just as a one liner, if anyone wants to know, okay, Amit.
Oh, I say this, that I think I'm a never. Oh yeah, this is a nice one. I'm unbreakable. One word. I don't give up. Okay, I don't give up that easily. I might slow down. I might stop, take a break, but I don't give up, because I am unbreakable. Period. I don't give up. Yeah, that's the only thing I would say.
Yes. And what happens like whenever a life throws a challenge to you, okay, and you said, oh my God, this is something which is going crazy. what goes into your mind, and like what is something people can start doing it, so that like they can also become like you, or the unbreakable, and they can bounce back.
No, that's very interesting question. I'll treat this as a two-part thing, Ravi,
Mhm.
because I just want to share my views. Right. One of the things is that life throws challenges. Now, definition of challenge.
Mhm.
I've realized that challenge has become relative. Like now, my challenge is way different than the challenge that I had 20 years ago.
Mhm.
uh, okay, at that time the challenge that I face now is pretty simple than the challenge that I had 20 years ago. Okay, it was very bad state, right? So I think it also depends upon what exactly are you into. Basically, what is the family status that you have, who all are dependent on you and things like that. So all these things will result in the output. All right.
Mhm.
So the first thing that I want to tell everyone is that there's only one way to give up. And I said this earlier, right? Just go and bloody kill yourself. All right. But I don't believe in that, because
Mhm.
it's just senseless for me. All right. Because you're not running away from challenge. You bloody well putting the challenge and plus addition of another 50 kgs on to rest of the people who are around you now. Okay. So that doesn't work for me. So the second point is the way I handle is that who all are on stake now. Okay.
Mhm.
So I have to figure out, other than me, who are on stake. Is my family on stake, and till how depth they are on stake.
Mhm.
Okay. Then I also see that, what are the risks that I can take. Now there is so-called word calculated risk. I never understand that very well. Okay. For me it's very simple. The only thing that I personally do, and this is my mantra, is that I believe in myself.
Mhm.
Okay, I have taken a lot of risks in my life. Some has failed, some has passed, but I have believed in myself. So you got to believe in yourself. All right, I'm looking at the camera now to everyone here. You have to. You have to believe in yourself. Even though you might have some limiting beliefs, side mein rakho and start focusing on what is in the hand. Right? Do what is required. Okay, and then move forward. Trust me, I can tell you this, at least after so many things that has happened with me. Trust me, things do fall in place. थोड़ा
Mhm.
time लगता है कभी कभी. Okay, when I say थोड़ा time, it could be 5 6 years also, it could be 10 years also, but it does. It does. I think that is what has given me the strength so far, is that I just see that, okay, I have somebody to take care of, my loved ones, and they are my background. They are the ones whom I'm doing for. I'm
Mhm.
not just for them, it's basically for our own betterment, so that they are not in the same stage where I am in right now. So that gives me the kick, I guess. All you need is a kick.
Yes, it's all about like, just believe, just
Yeah.
believe, because that is just one state, or maybe that is one circumstances or event which is happening, one phase of life we can say, but there are so many different things which is on the way. So we need to believe to get out of that. Thank you, thanks so much for sharing that, Amit. Now, what is that one thing you want to teach your kid? Maybe that might be as a, that was a mistake which you have done, which you don't want your kid to do, or maybe it's kind of any philosophy which you want him to make him understand that any specific particular point, or maybe any particular thing. What that one thing
I
would
think
be.
I just want him, and I tell him this every time, is that, okay, whatever he thinks. So he plays with Legos a lot. Okay,
Mhm.
and many times he doesn't make the structures that the Lego images have given you. Okay, he'll make some weird structures, all that word, and I don't discourage him at all. Okay, in fact,
Mhm.
I click photos of every weird structure that he makes, and probably take videos as well. So I know what he's talking about. Now, as a child, I was discouraged when
Mhm.
these things happened for me. Okay.
Hmm.
If I loved any song, or if I wanted to be a little creative and this and that, I was forced told that, oh, ये सब थोड़ी करना है क्या, आलू प्याज बेचने आगे जाके type से. So I think that's what I'm trying to put it in his head, is that whatever you do, till the time you like it, I don't care,
Hmm.
but you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you let me know, we'll find something else. So I think that freedom, of being creative, being vulnerable, being whatever, being him, is
Hmm.
what I'm trying to give him. I didn't get that. I don't think IT would have been my first choice. Okay, very
Great.
honest.
Yeah. And Amit, like, which is your favorite food?
Oh my God, I'm a big foodie, man. Everything I love a lot of food, honestly speaking. I love a lot of food. But if you
Which one
ask
is
me,
your favorite? Yes.
well, that's very tricky for me. I think I still love. Uh, so let me break it down in certain way. Okay, so let's say I'll break it down into home food and street food. Okay, not all
Yes.
the cuisines. All right, because
Yes.
there's too many. So home food may I think I love parathas. Okay, a
Hmm.
lot. And I think in the street food, uh, I think street food may, there are a couple of them, maybe like those, those I'm talking about, literally street food, okay, not those fancy restaurants, all right, road
Hmm.
pe khate jo, stall dalte. So
Yes.
there I generally tend to eat dosas,
Hmm.
and there are different types of dosas and hot.
And like, what is the that one thing you miss in Australia which makes you remember of country India?
Street food. No, there are many things. Of course, my friends, connecting with people, being there. But yeah, of course, street food a lot. A lot.
Great, great, great. Who is your ideal, Amit? Who do you follow, or maybe like you implements those people's footsteps, or maybe you have learned so many things from that people from childhood till now, and you they have taught you some great lessons.
I think so. Idols, mentors, coaches, keep changing from time to time. I've realized it. And like, I can tell you that till the time I was, let's say, a decade ago, okay, so first
Mm-hmm.
20, 30 years, my idol would be my aunt, my cousin, brother,
Mm-hmm.
and of course my sister-in-law. And then all those people in factory, in restaurants, those workers, you will find some or the other guy who will teach a 15-year-old person, right? Kuch to dekh will
Mm-hmm.
give you gyan, right? Or they will talk about their own times, or they will talk about how sattu and eating jalebi is very good for physical strength before getting into the factory, right? So you get to learn. So they have shaped me. Then it came to my father-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
of course. And then recently, a couple of years ago, Dave Gadvi, okay,
Mm-hmm.
he got me into many of the things that I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Then now recently it is JP Davids, so people can Google him. He's a fantastic storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
uh, then also Ali Abdal, and yeah, and a couple of more. Tom Billieu, probably, because I got inspired from his show actually a lot as well.
Great, great, great. And also, like, what do you think about a mentor? One should have a mentor in his life, like if he wants to achieve certain things which he is not able to achieve in his life till now. Do you think like he should be having a mentor in his life?
Yeah, I think even if you don't have any aspiration, and I'll be very honest, right? So
Mhm.
even if you don't have any aspirations in your life, in a way, you gotta have some mentor around, because, and that mentor should be like of your family group as well, someone who's not part, so that somebody who can give you a good opinion and understanding without being connected to you in an emotional way, in a sense, you know. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, if you want to achieve something, like I can say right now I am with four mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now people might wonder, oh my god, four mentors, and it's not uncommon. People have many mentors for many areas of life, right?
Yes.
So I think mentor is very important because they will help you to understand and see things that you cannot see, and help you to achieve things that you desire to achieve but you don't know that you want to achieve. I know
Mm-hmm.
thoda wo jumbled up words tha, but I hope people got it.
Yeah. And especially in India, if you see like the most, like a lot of them, they don't know, okay, you should be having a mentor, because they think that okay, once I'm graduate, that's done, like my mera padhai khatam ho gaya hai. What would you like to say about these people, like, or maybe like as per your experience, when is the actual real education starts?
I tell this to my college friends and they're like, Amit, kitna padega? And I'm like, you studied for the first 15 years, 20 years. I am doing it now. Okay. So, because here's the thing, you know what happens? Most of the people, I'll tell you, Ravi, in IT as well. Okay.
Mhm.
Forget the mentors, forget all these self help books. They don't even bloody do their certifications that are required. Okay. Why is because they put so much of blood and sweat to get that engineering degree done, is that they're frustrated now with
Mhm.
education, and that also hampers their career growth in a way, right? So but they don't understand is that when you step in the real world, okay, and I'm not saying that education doesn't help, it definitely helps in whatever ways it is, but the
Mhm.
real world is with real people. Real people come with their real problems and real stories. You gotta take care with a certain level of differentiation. It's not an equation to solve, it's a
Mhm.
very complex equation which involves humans now. So you need a lot of different skills that you gained during your first 21, 23 years. And
Mhm.
those skills come from you grab a hold of a mentor to get it a little quicker, or you grab hold of 4 to 300 books to do it in your certain way. So it's up to you.
Yes, that's correct. And like, what is your last one thoughts which you want to share it with the audience? Maybe that is advice, like from your life, or maybe based on your experience, you would like to give it to the audience.
I think I'll say this, that, you know, just like our DNAs are unique, you know,
Hmm.
our stories are like our DNAs. Okay, they're unique. Now, if you want to make your story, your DNA, yourself interesting to others so that others can listen to you, you better learn how to articulate yourself. How do you put across yourself? Just by dressing up. I always say this to everyone. You might wear the best Armani suit and all the things, and I'll put you on the stage, but people will be only amazed the moment, or they will be devastated the moment you open your mouth. And
Yes.
when you open your mouth, it is a story that comes out of your mouth, and not a plus b the whole c square or whatever that was.
Great, great. Okay. And how can one can connect to you in the social media, or maybe like if they want to learn about storytelling and everything, how can one get connected?
There is the link. Thank you, Ravi. So link has come up automatically. I know Ravi sent it. But please connect with me. You can go to Stories That Impact show. You know, this is another thing. Amit Khanna is such a common name in this planet that you will find dime dozens of them. And also, there is a famous Amit Khanna photographer and I think producer. So please put Stories That Impact plus Amit Khanna, and you can find me. There's the link tree which has got all the information. If you want to LinkedIn, it's very easy. Amit Khanna PM, that is project manager, and you can find me there. Connect with me on YouTube. There are a lot of things you can watch there apart from the show. Do watch the TEDx talk, okay? Because that 12 minutes will give you a base of what you need to do for your communication. And the topic is also very interesting. The topic I chose was kill the soft skill. So it's pretty easy to note.
Great, great, great. Thank you. So, guys, whoever is listening to this, okay, do not forget to go and search Amit Khanna. Okay, the best way to search him is stories that impact, and go through like all the videos, like whatever the episodes Amit has been doing it. You will realize that you are very much grateful for what you have today now, because there are so many amazing personalities he has interviewed, and like it's all the stories, and you will leave with that only one thing, with an impact after listening to that stories. So thank you so much, Amit, for coming to the Ravi Nadar show, and it was just wonderful. We were having a wonderful conversation today, and I am like, it was just amazing. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you very much to you and to all your audience for listening, and stay connected. And
Yes,
remember, don't give up.
yes, yes, yes. So that was an amazing conversation we were having with an amazing storyteller, Amit Khanna. So your story is very, very important. As he said that everyone's DNA is unique. Okay, similarly, your story is also important. You have $1 million story. So do not keep it with yourself. Share it out. Okay, because your story might change someone else's life. Okay, so we are going to like come up with a lot of episodes. Okay, so if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel right now, and also like click the notifications button as well. Okay, we are going to bring up a lot of amazing personalities wherein we can help you how you can live a successful and fulfilled life. Okay, so till that time, take care. Bye. Thank you.